And we are back on the Zero Hour with Rebecca Vallas. Rebecca is Director of Policy at the Center for American Progress Talk Poverty Team. She is also co-host of Talk Poverty Radio, which you can find Saturdays at noon on SXM Insight, Channel 121. Rebecca, before we went to break, we were talking about Social Security funding, but the issue du jour, which we can just talk about for a minute, is I would say, I don't know if you agree with this phrasing. Let me know. I would say the Republicans have manufactured a crisis over the Disability Insurance Trust Fund, because in the past, Congress 11 times has adjusted funds between disability and the retirement trust funds. Now they don't want to do it, and now they're saying they want to re-examine all of its funding. How big a deal is that? Just in a few words, how big a deal is that really?
And I would completely agree with your characterization, and it's what we're hearing increasingly from champions in the Senate, Social Security champions such as Sherrod Brown, Bernie Sanders, and others. They're all agreeing, and I think it's exactly right. Republicans are manufacturing a crisis here, and it's pretty clear what they're doing. They view the fact that we're coming up on 2016, which is a year when, as we've known for a long time, Congress is going to need to act to do basically what's been a routine fix for the last 50, 60 years. They've done it 11 times. It's something called rebalancing the trust funds. They have to do that periodically when there have been demographic shifts or other things that have put stress on one or the other trust fund. With the aging of the baby boomers and some other factors, we've seen some growth in the Social Security disability insurance program over the last 30 years that now rebalancing would address. And rebalancing would, as it has in the past, ensure that Social Security's entire system is able to continue to pay all promised benefits for the next 2 decades or close to it. Now, what we've seen is Republicans eyeing 2016 and that need for congressional action as really an opportunity to sort of use disability insurance as a backdoor into Social Security, which they would love to try to cut. And so what we've seen them doing is sort of taking step after step, starting with a midnight rule change that happened in January that Republicans forced through as part of the Republican rules package in the House. We're seeing them basically position all the chess pieces so that they can try and force cuts in Social Security and divide and conquer and pit seniors against people with disabilities in the process.
Or as we put it on this program, they're holding the disabled hostage in order to cut the entire program for an adjustment that, if I remember correctly, would amount to less than 1% of the entire retirement trust fund.